Alright, so lastly we'll figure out the graphs for cosecant and for secant. And so the thing you'll notice here, because cosecant is the flip of sine, if you look at the graph here, kind of in the light gray line, we have the graph of sine. Cosecant is just the flip of that. So you'll notice here's an important point. Instead of curving down from there, we flip it around and curve it up from there. It's the inverse. So instead of being able to be at 0, we're 1 over 0, so we're undefined right there. So the way to do a cosecant and a secant graph is to instead do the sine and cosine graphs and then flip them. And so we'll see exactly what that means with our example here for 2 cosecant of x plus 4. So what we're really looking at is 2 cosecant. I'm sorry, instead of cosecant, let's think about this as 1 over sine. So we're going to attempt this just like we would do a normal sine curve. We know our points are going to be shifted by pi over 4. So I'm going to make a quick table here for my 5 points. Okay. Normally, since my period is 2 pi, normally all my points would be at 0, pi over 2, pi, and 3 pi over 2, and finishing at 2 pi. That's if we didn't shift. But we are shifting left by pi over 4, so all of our x values get subtracted by pi over 4. And 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, and 7 pi over 4. Fun with fractions. Alright, so from that, let's go ahead and see what our graph of sine would look like. My first point is back here at negative pi over 4, and then 1, 2, 4 more. Just taking these values from the table we just did. Alright, we know my amplitude is 2. So we have that. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and, in black, just draw what the sine curve would look like. So first dot, second dot, third dot, fourth dot, fifth dot. Connect them nicely. There's my sine curve. Okay. Now, green, hopefully the green will work, is going to be our final graph for cosecant. Anywhere we have a value of 0 becomes an asymptote. So everywhere my graph crosses the x-axis, I create a vertical asymptote. Then, so that's 3. 1, 2, 3 of my important points. There's only 2 more important points to deal with. Let's go to the second important point right there. Instead of curving down from that dot, we're going to curve up from our dot. We'll go to our fourth point. Instead of curving up from that dot, we'll curve down from that dot. And so the green is our final graph for cosecant. Okay? So once you get good at these, you probably won't need to draw both graphs. You can just draw the points. And so see if you might be able to get away with that on this example here, 33. All right, let's check out our important points first. We're to the right by pi. X would normally be 0. Pi over 2 pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. We're going to add pi to everything because we're shifted to the right. So we'll start at pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi, 5 pi over 2, and 3 pi. That's what our graph's going to look like. So we'll start here at pi. Let me just label these quickly. All right, and so my amplitude is 2. -2. So I'm just going to put the 5 dots in. I'm not going to connect them for sine. So since it's cosecant, we'll do the dots for sine. Start on the x-axis, start on your middle line, go up, and then down. It'll look like that. All right. We're going to do the inverse, though, 1 over. So we'll have asymptotes anywhere our important dots hit the axis. And then from the other dots, we'll flip them over. And so that is your graph of 2 cosecant of x minus pi. All right, we'll try the last part of this lesson. We'll do secant. Do this one together. No shifting going on here at all. We do have our period affected here, 2 pi divided by 2, so our period is just pi now. Amplitude of 1. So slightly different points than normal. What would we have here? Pi over 4 and 3 pi over 4. Secant is the flip of cosine. So I'm going to do my 5 dots for a cosine. Start high, finish low. Okay. Anywhere that I have a 0, I'm going to draw an asymptote. Okay. Normally we'd be going down, so we're going to go up like that. Let me go ahead in green and connect the dots of the normal cosine curve. Might give you a little bit better idea of how we flip these over, the shape of the curves. All right, so in black there is your secant graph. Last thing to try on your own, number 35, give it a shot. 2 secant of x plus pi. All right, so we already know the important points on the table when we plus or when we minus pi. So that's going to be everything shifted over. Normally we would end at 2 pi, but we're subtracting pi to everything here. We're going to have an amplitude of 2, and so secant is the flip of cosine, so we'll do a normal cosine curve. Start high, finish high, asymptotes on the zeros, curve off of your remaining dots. And there you have it. That is a 1-period graph of secant. Okay, just want to lastly leave you with this. This is in your book. You can refer back to it if you need to. This is just a visual demonstration of all 6 of the graphs. So if you need to flip back and look for it, that's at the end of 4.6.